We've already committed $4 million to build that church.
Like to try to be an American.
I'm Fred Jackson, and I'm representing Rock the Boat and Oakland today. I'm here at the steps of the Capitol in Sacramento at the National Victim Rights Week celebration. I think they do it every year, and this is my first time to be here to grace this great occasion. And so I'm here with Jimmy Guy, the executive producer of Oakland and Nikki Mays, who also works for KPFA, pardon me, and we're here to get some footage on this great occasion. And so I have a young lady here who, of course, have felt the sting of violence in a big, big way. And first of all, could you give us your name?
My name is Ora Noel, and that's O-R-A-K-N-O-W-E-L-L.
Orinda Wells.
Ora Noel.
Ora Noel. Okay, Ora Noel. So good to be able to talk to you today. And I understand that you've had 2 youth taken from among us through violence.
Well, actually, Reverend Jackson, they was young adults. Mm-hmm. My first son was murdered in 1996, April 5th. And he had just made 25 years old. My second son was murdered in Defirmary Park in Oakland, 2002. He was going to be 35. He was murdered May 5th of 2002.
Mm-hmm. As a mother who have lost, of course, your offsprings to violence, how do you cope? You know, I know lots of mothers out there would want that question answered. Could you just give us in your own words, just how do you cope with that on a daily basis?
Well, it's really hard to cope, but I redirect the inner pain, and my way of redirecting that inner pain is through my artwork, through my quilting, and working with the young folks in the community who has lost someone to gun violence. So it's very healing for me to be able to do my artwork and to be able to work with the young folks who is our future, who has lost a loved one to gun violence.
Great. That should tell everybody that no matter what the pain is, that you can work through it if you do something positive, if you keep yourself busy and think about the positive rather than the negative. That is so beautiful. And we took a scan of all your works that you have here, and I noticed one of your sons is represented here, the one holding the baby, I believe, that you told me. Yes. One that's holding the baby. Then you have your other son, his picture is represented somewhere on the premises also, right?
Yes.
Yes.
My first son that was murdered was my youngest son. His name was Christopher Matthew James. Mm-hmm. My second son that was murdered in 2002 is Daniel Noel, and there is a $50,000 reward billboard that went for him, offering $50,000 for anyone leading to a conviction of his killer. And the pain is great on a day-to-day basis, but I get through it by the grace of God. I could not get through this pain without the support of God wrapping his arms around me and supporting me, and I let him guide my direction every day. Every day I get up, I have to lean on the Lord for prayer, also to help redirect that inner pain.
Right on. Okay, well that's great. I'm so glad to talk to you today because one of the things I will be doing when my CD is released, Too Early, Too Young, the song, then we're coming back immediately with a video, and a lot of the pieces that I'm taking today will be part of the video, and what you have to say also, and as also I'll be doing other pieces for the video too, which I will be working closely with you. And the proceeds from, of course, as I've always stated, from Too Early, Too Young, will be going to prevent violence, to violence prevention.
That's a wonderful thing to have.
Because I wrote the song, it was out of agony, I wrote it out of pain. It was written out of somebody's pain or somebody's loss. So therefore, I couldn't take, you know, the lyrics is about tragedy. And I want to use those lyrics to help raise money to prevent other tragedies.
And that's a wonderful thing, and you keep up the good work.
I will do it. Thank you very much for
and
talking
thank you.
to me. Thank you. Bye-bye. Thank you. Okay, thank you very much. Well, we're going to keep moving through the crowd here and taking the pictures, the scenery, the talks, and people feeling and people's testimonies. Yeah, hello, back again. I have a young man here who I've known for quite a while. And tell the people your name.
I'm Mr. Kwalam Rashid, and I'm here to honor my son, Horace, who was murdered in 1996 in Richmond, California. So I've been fighting in the cause for over 40 years since I was a young kid in Alabama. So I'm here to honor my son, who was a victim of a senseless killing in 1996.
Well, thank you very much. You know, I'd like to point out that you have to actually have interviewed me on More Radio. So you and I have been on the front lines of our fence for quite a while in this thing. So I really thank you for talking to me today. I really appreciate it.
Well, I appreciate being your friend and your companion in the Rights for Life, Fred.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye. Yeah, I'm Fred Jackson again here, and right now I'm talking to Charlene Harris, who is the founder, executive director of MASS. Now, MASS means Mothers Against Senseless Killings. Mothers Against Senseless Killings, that's MASS. And Charlene, we have worked together for a long time on violence prevention. And Charlene is my right-hand person in this work, and she would have a significant role in my CD that's coming up immediately after my CD is released. There will be a video on the song Too Early, Too Young, and she would play a significant role in lots of the people who footage I'll be taking today. And so, Charlene, it's so nice to be here.
It's so nice to be here too, Fred. This is our 5th year being here, and we came up on the bus, and the bus was full. And that's really good. And we got children and teens with us, and a lot of them have been following us ever since our beginning. I love coming to a place like this, you know, because I think it brings more unity, and we want to form a coalition of people so we can stand up for our rights, because I feel like the rights of survivors of crimes aren't being met because there's lack of and disparities in the funding. You know, however, I'm told there is funding now, but I can't get my hands on it. So we do need funding to continue our programs. I would also like to introduce you guys to others that's up here, as well as the mothers and the fathers and the children, the siblings, the aunts and the uncles who came up with us.
Hello, George.
Hello.
So how you doing today?
I'm doing well.
What brings you to Sacramento today? Have you had someone in your family to be failed by violence?
I lost 2 children, but I represent about 250 families throughout the Bay Area who lost loved ones to violence. And we feel that this representation, sponsored by the state of California and the correctional officers, just reflects a different portion of the people that are really affected. If you see the various pictures around here, most of the people that have been killed are black and brown. And then they're talking about this bill proposition. They want to build more prisons, and then we represent 50 to 60% of that population as well. Something wrong with that picture.
Right on.
So we're here to represent a different voice. We believe in accountability and also reconciliation. And we believe in healing instead of punishing, because if punishment worked, we wouldn't be in the shape that we're in today. So we're here to represent the silent voice in our society, and that's people of color.
Well, thank you very much. That's good to hear, and which brings me our new president, Obama. How do you think he will fit into the scheme of things? Do you think this violence, as we have known it in the past, do you think that his emphasis, you know, we know he emphasizes education, but do you feel that he will take on the hymn of this violence prevention, this incarceration problem that we are having? What is your gut feelings about that?
First of all, if I was to talk to Obama, I'd say, what's up with the Homeland Security? What's going on with all that money? And we're going all over to Iraq and Iran and Afghanistan, but you got people that are afraid to come out their houses. You got people that are afraid to live in neighborhoods. So what they doing with that money? If we can appropriate some of that money and come up with some strategy for prevention, and we start looking at more treatment for people who have substance abuse and alcohol problems, then I think that the high rate of incarceration, they call it DMC, disproportionate minorities incarcerated, we can address that issue. So if he's willing, and I think some of the things that he's doing now are okay, but there's a whole group of people that are still not being impacted by the stimulus pack and a whole other packs, and I think he needs to hear their voice.
In other words, what you're saying is that there's Iraq, Pakistan, Afghanistan, Middle East, North Korea, Iran is right here in our backyard. This is what you're saying. That needs to be attended.
We got Taliban's in the community. Shucks. There's terrorists in America, and they ain't, you know, speak another language. They look like you and me and other people of color, and we want them to be taken care of and handled. That's all.
Well, thank you very much. You gave us a mouthful and great wisdom as you have spoken, you know, represented by that gray in your beard there. So I was glad. Yeah, I said old wisdom. That means the wisdom is old. I didn't say you. Yeah. All right, thanks.
My son was Dante White, and he was murdered April the 27th, 2006 at the LOH Community Center in San Francisco. And a gymnasium full of children. He was at work and in front of his 6-year-old daughter. And I'm here advocating for to stop the violence, put down the guns. And what is it? For us to start healing. You know, yeah.
How old was he?
My son at the time was 22 years old. He would have been 25 in January.
Well, I have a question for you. How can we get that into the minds of the young people in your mind to really want to live? That seems to be an issue. Though how important it is to us to live.
I'm with George from the Healing Circle, and we go to the prisons and we talk to the youngsters and stuff. You know, and we let them know that, you know, you're the ones making decisions to take a life and stuff. And you do have pull when you go back out on the streets, you know, to the other young kids that's coming along that want to be like you, and tell them to put down the guns because you're hurting people. Hurt people hurt people. So it's time, you know, put the guns down.
Thank you. Now, what about, you know, in the olden time, you know, our families were so closely knit that if we see one do something wrong, we would tell the mother because we were trying to preserve our youth.
Before you got home and after you got home, you got chastised yet again. Yeah.
Okay, so how do you feel about chastisement?
Oh, I'm all for it. I'm old school.
I heard that.
I'm old school.
So we're going to be okay.
Yeah.
We're going to be okay. Okay.
Nice
Thank
meeting
you. Thank you. So we're taking some footage today. As I said before, we're taking some footage on to be used on Too Early, Too Young, the video. And so these people here that I'm about to talk to, they've had great tragedy in their life, and they are here today celebrating the fact that they need to recover. We need to recover from this. We need to buckle down and deal with it and create a better society. So I'm just going to have a candid conversation as the public listens in. What's your name?
My name is Carol Henderson from Richmond, and this is my son Maurice Harris. He was killed 13 years ago come June, and they still haven't prosecuted anyone for his murder. Please do something. Thank you.
All righty. Could I have your name, please?
Charlotte Henderson.
You Charlotte Henderson. And Charlotte, have you, just how do you fit into this? Why are you here?
I'm the aunt to Carol's son, the first cousin, second cousin to the other, and the grandmother of DeMarcus Perkins. We lost him July the 5th, 2000.
Well, you heard that murdered in Richmond. You heard that, and you see the faces of those that all three murdered in Richmond. You heard it, and these are the faces of the violence that we all know so well. And it's so nice talking to both of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, and God bless.
God bless. God bless you too.
Camel made us a beautiful banner this year. She makes all our banners, and this is beautiful. Oh, yeah. Excuse me, Carol. And here's the jacket that she made for me.
We didn't have one editorial board.
They're the most vigilant kids I've ever known, these three here. Anything we do, they be at, and I love them for that. And this is Camel. She's my right-hand girl. She's always there. She's a mass board member, and I love her, and she does beautiful artwork. And this should be about number 15. Beautiful.
As you can see, Charlene Harris is really on the ball, and she knows what to do. So, so we're going to take a little break and have a little lunch, and we'll be right back at you. Bye-bye.
My name is David Quintana. I'm from San Francisco, California.
Okay, and have you lost anyone to violence?
Yeah, I lost my brother. He was in a car. He got shot with me in the car.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I had to drive him to the hospital. So it's a pretty traumatic experience.
Yeah. So how old was he?
He was about 19. When
19, definitely too early, too young, huh?
Definitely.
Definitely. Well, you know, so what is this coming here, what does it do to you just being here? These people
makes it seem like a bigger picture out here. You see all the people who are mourning, who have lost younger people. You know, most of them are young. You know,
yeah.
A lot of them older. But
right.
It just, you know, you get a bigger sense of, you know, how many people have lost and have fallen too early.
Right. Absolutely.
My name is Elizabeth Torres.
You Elizabeth Torres. And have you had anyone to be failed by violence?
Yes, my son Francisco Garcia. He was killed on April 16, 2004 in San Francisco.
In San Francisco?
In Daly City.
Okay, so being here today, it has a special meaning for you, of course.
Of course, we've been coming here for 5 years. For 5 years.
5 years.
Yeah. Can I say something?
Sure.
I just want to give a shout out to the 1,000 Moms of Oakland, you know, in the East Bay, and that we're here to support you, you know, as well as we need support too from San Francisco, and we come up here every year just so that, you know, it doesn't really add a comfort, you know, but it's good to know that we're represented, you know, especially people of color, that we're here being represented.
Okay.
You know.
Okay. What do you think about this day? What it means to you?
Senator George Warner, Assemblyman Norma Torres.
How does it feel?
I don't know what to say.
Well, how do you feel being here?
Well, I like being here. I like this event. I plan on attending again. I do. I do. I like the event.
Yeah, so as she pointed out, her family member, I was at the funeral, I remember
Well,
that.
that was my friend's son. I
That
mean,
was
my
you.
son's friend before my son was murdered.
Right.
He was with his friend when his friend got murdered.
Right.
And we were at his funeral.
Yes, this is so prolific and so memorable in that the lots of people that I've been to the funerals that these pictures represent here. Thank you for talking to me. You sure can.
My son's name was Trevante James. He was born December 8th, 1985, and he was murdered October 20th, 2006 at the Tent City, across from the Tent City in Richmond.
I remember that. I remember that. I remember that so well. I remember that. Praise God. I remember that. And you, young man, what's your name?
Nico.
Nico?
Nico what?
Nico Young.
Okay, so why are you here today? I mean, what draws you here? Why? What does it mean to you?
I think this event was like supposed to represent hope that people will have. I don't know.
But he's my son, so he came to support me.
Yeah.
And this is my son's girlfriend.
Oh,
she
okay.
came too.
So you came to support Mom?
Yes.
All right. That's good, you know, because
I had two sons, and now I only have this one left.
Right. Well, this is great because you know there's a thing going around that's saying it's not cool to live. It's okay to die. You know, it's kind of like fatalistic. You know, say let's die, but just put me away with my colors and so forth. But the youngsters, and to hear what you saying, you were telling me, Fred Jackson, you said, hey, look, Fred Jackson, I want to live. I'm here to support my mom, to let her know that she brought me into this world, and I'm going to take care of her. I'm not going to leave early.
No.
You're not going to leave too early, too young. No. Right on. I know that's right. And that's why I decided to do a video. Once Too Early, Too Young is released, I plan to use this footage and to gather together those who have been victims of violence and do a grand video in which the proceeds from the video will go to violence prevention, go to the needs of those who are suffering, that will go to the needs of those who need help. And you know, everything costs money these days, but I really want Too Early, Too Young to really raise revenues to prevent more of what we see here today. We want our young to live. I have a group of people here, but first I want to start with my friend here, and I'm just going to let him tell you who he is, especially you baseball fans. I want him to just tell you who he is.
Oh, no, that's many years ago. I was a professional baseball player with Baltimore Orioles at 19, and basically I came home at 23 years old after a serious injury and had to reshape my career and get an education and go back to school because I was injured. But one thing I've found is that many people today are suffering things that I didn't suffer as a kid. I wanted to be a baseball player and I could pursue that occupation, whereas now I don't see any kids on the baseball field. We need to help our kids to get an education, to go back to school, and so they don't have to get caught up in this life where there's violence and there's mayhem that's being practiced on each other. I think it's good that they're seeking to give restitution to victims of crime here in Sacramento. This is the second year I've come up here for this event. I'm injured now. I broke my leg, but I'm here because I figure this is really important to be here to support these people who've lost members of their family. And I lost a couple of brothers, and you know, street life and different kinds of things. And just last week, my sister's son had the car that he was riding in shot up after going to the hospital to visit a friend who had already been shot. And so he's now out of town, just in hiding because he has this fear factor.
But just in case that people didn't hear your name, I want them to know who you are.
I'm Charles Akins. I'm a lifelong resident. I've been in Oakland since age 10, and I'm an ex-professional athlete, school teacher, a lot of other writer for the Oakland Tribune and Newsweek magazine, and I've done a lot of things in my life simply because I had the opportunity to do them. But I hope these young men won't have that opportunity. They lost their lives at a young age. March 27th, one was killed in April 1980, and he was born in 1980. Okay, and that's not many years ago. He lived to be probably less than 30 years old, and if I had gotten killed at 24, I never would have done any of the things I could do. And here's another lady who lost 2 members of her family. Can you guys come in and get in? You all Oakland folks.
This is our family behind.
They were on Gaskill Street, which was on 54th and Gaskill. She went to church right across the street from the house I was in when I became a professional baseball player with the Baltimore Orioles. She was going to the church right directly across the street. And these are family folks that's getting closer and closer to home. I'm seeing more and more people that I know are involved in situations where they either murdered or their lives are in danger and so forth. So the fear factor should be taken out of our neighborhoods, and they should be safe places for us to live and work and do the things we do, and so we can see each other and cheer each other instead of having memorial services.
Right on. Thank you, Charles. And I tell you, I'm going to start to my right here. The reason I had Charles, I wanted him to state his name clearly. I wanted him to know that we are the Baltimore Oriole. I mean, I used to watch him, and I wanted that to be out there.
Well, you should tell him that we used to cover the prison movement, too. We did a lot of things.
Right on. Okay. So what's your name?
My name is Kathy Smith.
And have you lost someone to violence?
Yes, I lost my brother and my niece.
And your niece?
I lost my brother in 2002. He was shot on 54th and Martin Luther King. And my niece, she was hit and ran on 57th and Market Street.
That's my son.
Okay.
L.B. Griffin.
Okay, now what's your name?
Llewellyn Smith.
Llewellyn Smith. And so the young man she just talked about.
That's her brother.
That's your son.
My brother.
And your brother.
And our granddaughter.
Well, it's so
They're
good.
Right behind us.
So good to talk to both of you. Yeah, time flies when you're talking to people. Time flies. Time flies. So anyway, so let's say, so you all keep it together. And I'm talking you coming from Sacramento, California, and the people you see around here is people who I talk to, been fellowship with today, those who are coming here every year. And so fortunately, I've had a chance to come today, and you will see these faces, you will see these people, you will see this event again in the future. Thank you. Fred and out. Bye.